Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to Scents of South Jersey with me, Kellen, for another fragrance video. Today we're going to be doing another installment of the series Then and Now. So in the Then and Now series, it's just like a regular fragrance review, except what I do is I compare the current formulation of a fragrance to the vintage formulation. And today's fragrance Then and Now edition is going to be on Halston Z-14. This is a 1974 leather fragrance by the House of Halston. And what we'll do, we'll break down the presentations of both, talk about the notes, talk about the performance based on my experience wearing both of these fragrances. I'll give it my overall thoughts, then I'll tell you if the vintage is worth it, and then we'll give the overall ratings for both. Before we jump into this review, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so. I really appreciate it. We're on our way to 10K, and I can't thank you all enough for all of the support. Make sure to check out the Scents of South Jersey Instagram page. There's news and updates on the channel, photos of fragrances from my collection, and daily scent of the day story posts when I can get to them. And of course, check out the TikTok at Sabro88. However, it is non-fragrance related. And if you would like to purchase fragrances directly from my collection, these are going to be rare, vintage, discontinued, or other fragrances in general that I just find myself not wearing anymore. I am listing on there for sale. I'd rather somebody else enjoy it. So make sure to check out the link in the description below. That's where I'm going to put that. Feel free to message me on there if you have any questions. And I've had a lot of good interactions with people. So again, let's get into this review for Then and Now of Halston Z-14. Okay, the presentation parts on these are a little longer because I have to do two of them. So let's just jump into it. Let's look at the current formulation. Again, this is a big 8-ounce bottle of current formulation Z-14. Halston Z-14, pretty plain. It says Halston on the top there. Size and concentration looks like this is an eau de cologne. But you know, it may even be an eau de toilette. It depends. I'll check the bottom of the bottle. And on the back here, you've got the brand information, ingredients, made in the USA. You're going to see that. This is a very shiny box, so you're going to see that ring light reflection. There's the batch code. Let's open this guy up. There is a French wrapper. This is the 8-ounce bottle. Still the same shape, just this massive, like weird brown, flat, no center hole donut thing. On the bottom here, you can see this. Let's turn that over for you guys. Halston, EA fragrances, and it still says cologne too. So let's check out the distribution. Kind of a cheap cap. Very 70s, the brown look. Spray a lot on there. That is decent projection. Now take a look at this. This is a vintage bottle. So when I was looking up how to get the vintage, many places said look for Jeff Gordon, the NASCAR guy. Look for boxes that had him on it because these were pre-reformulation. You can see there him. It comes with this stupid NASCAR Matchbox car or whatever, Halston Z-14, and it's got the sweepstakes. So this is from 2005, I found out, because you can see it has the dates, when it's received. You can see there, 2005 sweepstakes, and you have to do it if you want to win a meet and greet with him. Now on the back, there's a couple things to notice. You take a look here, tree moss, and then you look over here, oak moss. So this contains the real deal and a special offer of $40. I don't know where this would have been sold. 2005, this was still an old fragrance back then, but you open it up, you have to take this stupid car out. NASCAR watches that. And here's what this one looks like too. So similar bottle, you can see the bottom there. And cap, let's spray some of this on that hand. So that's the presentation for the current and the vintage. Okay, so let's talk about the notes for Halston Z-14. This is off Fragrantica. In the top, we have cypress, lemon, bergamot, green notes, basil, and gardenia. And then in the middle or heart of the fragrance, there's a lot of notes in this stuff, guys. There's cinnamon, vetiver, patchouli, coriander, cedar, geranium, and jasmine. And then in the base, there is leather, oak moss, benzoin, amber, musk. What does this one say? Jasmine and tonka bean. So a ton of notes in there. There's a difference between the vintage, definitely pick up on the mossiness, where I don't really get that with the current. But those are the notes. Be it what that may, it doesn't matter. It's hard to tell sort of with these when there's so many notes. Okay, as far as the performance goes for the current formulation, it's average, I'd say about 4 hours. It's not a long-lasting fragrance by any means. However, it's so inexpensive, and you get the big bottle and you can just spray away. Adding it to your clothes will help the performance for sure. Spraying it on your clothes, inside of your shirt, on top of it, along with skin. So, don't really sweat the the performance because of how cheap the fragrance is. Still good quality though. As far as the vintage one goes, it lasts much longer, more than double that. Not a huge, like I don't feel like it's a projector. Sometimes I get whiffs of it, but I know it lasts on your skin. I've woken up the next day and my girlfriend's, oh, you still smell good. She's, laying next to me, has her head on my shoulder, etc. And she says she can still smell it. So I think it just sticks to you longer, but not necessarily like a beast mode projection that I know of. Very well could be. I just may either be nose blind or I'm just not picking up on it, but I think it lasts longer in terms of the fact that it just stays on your skin longer than the current formulation, which would make sense. Okay, so it's time for my thoughts on Halston Z-14. Let's talk about the vintage first. So this is a very classic style 70s scent. Even the look looks 70s. Brown was a big color in the 70s. Again, this is a 2005 bottle in that era. So it reminds me a lot of another fragrance that I love, also from the 70s, also has sort of a brown look, and that's Bogart by Jacques Bogart, also known as Bogart Signature. This smells, especially when it dries down, almost identical to that. That's an amazing fragrance, recently discontinued. It's very unfortunate, but this is way greener than the current one. And I get the darkness, it's more depth, it has the mossiness, its vintage form is much stronger and it is different. Whereas you take the current formulation, talk about that, great scent, except it's so much more soapy. It's so much drier. There's not much green to it at all that I pick up on. I get the hint of cinnamon. It doesn't go to like the big red chewing gum, which many people say, but I definitely get hints of cinnamon. I don't get nearly as much green and depth and longevity as I do with the vintage, which is different. Both are great. Both are great for daily use. Both are great for, guys that just want a clean, masculine scent. This is just going to be greener, more depth, and I think it smells better for sure. But this smells great too, except they are just very different. It's funny how this is a situation where the formulation change is very distinct. Sometimes it's only slightly different, but this one is like night and day, in my opinion. All right, guys, it's time for me to give you the verdict. Is getting the vintage worth it, or should you just stick with the current formulation? Let me start out by saying the current formulation is great. I love it. I love how soapy it is. I love how clean it is. It's masculine and it's inexpensive, and you can go to town with the sprays because you can get these 8-ounce bottles. Where do you find fragrances that come in 8-ounce bottles? Not that often anymore. Usually it's like 6.7 or whatever. However, the vintage is significantly better and is not that much more money. I mean, I paid less for this bottle than what the price tag sticker special offer of $40. I got this for around 33 bucks. Just made an offer on it. Seller accepted it. Sent over, wasn't sour, smells great. This is probably a scent that'll last longer too. There's not a lot of citrus in it, at least that you can tell. And maybe this is what's closer to, like, say, Tom Ford's Italian Cypress, which I've never tried, really want to try, but the prices for that are so expensive because this is dark, it's green, it's rugged. This one is just a soapy, clean scent. It's way more basic, so the differences are distinct. And I think for the money, these are not that expensive. It's absolutely worth getting the vintage. Okay, guys, it's time for our overall ratings for the Halston Z-14 current and vintage formulation. As far as the presentation goes, I'm just going to give both of them a 5 out of 10. I think it's pretty basic and weird. I will excuse the whole Jeff Gordon NASCAR thing. NASCAR is not, I'm not interested in that at all. But however, I guess they were sponsored just like things like Drakkar Noir. I know Chorus was sponsored by, I think, a Formula One race car at one point. That was just what they did back then. So 5 out of 10 for the presentation. As far as the performance goes, current 4 out of 10, vintage 8 out of 10. And the scent, still like it for the money. Smells so good, soapy, clean, masculine. 7.5 out of 10 for the current. And for the vintage, it just takes it a step further with having that real oak moss, tree moss, etc. Greener, darker, more depth. 8.5 out of 10. Still a great price. Going to bring the overall ratings for both. We'll go 5.5 out of 10 for the current. Lost points because of the presentation and the performance in my rating system. That's just the way I do it. I don't feel like changing it. However, the scent is still good, but overall rating 5.5 out of 10. For the overall rating for the vintage is going to be a 7 out of 10. All right, guys, that was the latest installment of my Then and Now series, and this is going to be for Halston Z-14, again, pitting the current formulation versus the vintage formulation. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think of Halston as a house? What do you think of Z-14. What do you think of 1-12? I have the current and vintage of that. Maybe I should do a then and now video. Do you agree with me? Do you think it doesn't make that much of a difference? Let me know in the comment section. You guys know I always appreciate all the interaction. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok. Definitely check out the Mercari page. Thank you all so much for watching and hanging out with me today, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.